when you're told your entire life that you are an evil person, that you are a sinner, that you are a groomer, that you are not worthy of this life, that your existence should be illegal, what do you think that does to somebody? What do you think that does to someone's mind and heart and soul? Hi, this video is for the gays. Now, you can watch it no matter what. I'm just not speaking to the general population here. I'm just talking to other gay men. But please, by all means, sit, have a beer with me. It's a cheap one, but hey. This video is also kind of like a sequel, if you will, to the truth the gay community doesn't want you to know, which, yes, I purposely picked a very clickbaity title to try and get views, which didn't work for 3 years or 2.5 years, and suddenly people started watching it, so cool. Also, I want to kind of start a new format where instead of editing my videos, which I know I don't heavily edit, I just jump cut a lot. Believe it or not, most of my videos are probably more like around an hour worth of footage that I try to cut down to somewhere around half an hour. I try to hit 25 minutes, but y'all know, come on, if you've seen it's just, I talk a lot. Well, instead of doing that, instead of just editing and whittling my whole thought process down to just an idea, I want to just have a conversation. So I'm just going to kind of talk about this topic, why I think gay men are so mean. My last video was more about my experiences with it. This is going to be more kind of an explanation as to why I think that we have a tendency to be mean and ways that I think that we can resolve that. Now, as I'm talking, post your comments, post your thoughts, and build a thread. Reply to your own comment if you have something else to say. I really enjoyed the discussion on the last video, and you don't have to watch it first to understand what I'm going to talk about now, but feel free to watch it after you see this one. It's really interesting, all of the comments I got. I got some really just beautifully kind comments, as well as some really sad stories in the comments, and I did get some critical comments. Very few of them were outright rude. Most of them were critical in a kind capacity, which I really enjoyed the discussion. There was one comment in particular which I haven't been able to find it. I replied to it and it's just buried in there somewhere, but it was such a good dissection of the topic, and I just loved it so much. So if I had it right now, I would show it to you. But yeah, go take a look at that video. It's awesome. I meant the discussion is awesome. Hold on. Let me just not toot my own horn. I meant the video plus that's okay. You get it. Okay. Short summary in case you... Oh my goodness. I understand. The dogs are not happy that I'm filming. I know. I understand. You can come up here. Come on. Come on. So in the last video, okay, don't do that. Rubbing her butt on the carpet. I basically talked about various experiences that I've had, being a gay person in America, and a lot of the toxicity within the community, and that I think a lot of that comes from us being so abused. And after I made that video, actually shortly after, maybe a year or so, and sorry if I at you a bunch, I'm getting over a horrible flu, one of the worst flus I've ever had in my life. But shortly after I made that video, I came across this book. I'd seen a review for it on YouTube, but I didn't actually read it, and then somebody that I worked with recommended it to me. And this is written by someone who was a therapist. He's a gay man. It's The Velvet Rage by Alan Downs, PhD. He was a therapist for, I want to say he said 15 years, and he saw almost exclusively gay male clients. And so this isn't actually a study. It's just kind of an anecdotal observation over the course of his career that gay men tend to have the same things wrong with them. I don't want to say wrong, but it's, the same struggles, the same symptoms, and they seem to be doing the same exact things to try and cure, you know, their ailments, whether it's drug abuse or sex or, you know, focusing on buying the most beautiful things or having the most beautiful fashion or having the hottest boyfriend or going to the gym so that you can be the hottest. There seems to be the same exact cycles that gay men continuously live because they are trying to hide their shame. Now, I didn't connect a lot with the examples that he used in the book, but I did very much understand what he was talking about because I have my own examples. And you should know as well, I didn't finish the book. This is not going to be a book review. I just thought it made some good points, so I wanted to bring it into the discussion. I gotta pause this because I'm pretty sure my dog is like destroying things needing to potty. I don't know. The framing and the lighting have probably changed a little bit. That whining was them needing to go potty, so I took them to go potty. Now, back to our topic here. So in this book, he talks a lot about the phenomena I discussed in my previous video. However, I definitely went into a lot darker subjects. Yeah, like I really went heavy into the abuse. Now, excuse me, again, getting over a flu. The paragraph that turned me off the most, or I guess I should say that let me know the book wasn't for me, was essentially saying exactly kind of something that I have noticed in the gay community, but I'm very turned off by and don't like, is why are my intimate... So this is essentially what his clients have asked him, that these are the trends he's noticed. Why are my intimate relationships short-lived? Why am I driven to have the perfect body, the most beautiful house, the most fabulous career, the youngest and prettiest boyfriend, etc.? Why do I fight this nagging depression that tells me my life is bereft of greater meaning? Now, I've noticed this trend in gay men, though. I've noticed this extreme need to just be the best and have the best. And even if you're not the best, there's this need to like look down your nose at other people and drag them and just be cruel and hateful. And I've never really understood that, even though... Y'all calm the fuck down! My cats are playing, but they went from playing to just full on fighting. Be nice to each other. Ugh, parents and their kids, man. Jesus. She's adopted though, so it's probably why. I'm kidding. That was a joke. Oh, God. So, I've noticed this trend, right? But it goes so much deeper than that. And again, I'm a rambler, so get ready for this one. What was I going to say? Their fighting really threw me off. I don't even remember what I was talking about. What was I talking about? Here's my dog. This is Elsa. Hi, Elsa. She's actually not mine. I'm just babysitting her, but she's really sweet and I like her. I'm gonna have to rewatch this because I literally, like, my brain just went blank. I have no idea what I was talking about. None. At all. Aha! I remember. Okay. So, this need to kind of drag people and knock people down and pretend like you're the best, even if you're not the best. Even though I have done this before. Like, I have literally participated in this and still, yet, just never understood it. Never understood why I was getting it, why it was coming at me so heavily, even though I was literally dishing out the same exact shit, participating in the same exact behavior. Well, I did touch on it a little bit in the last video, but I don't think people really focused on that because of everything else that I talked about. It got some people heated. Oh, dear God, that was... Oh, my God. Survey call. No. Okay. So, I really think people focused on kind of the stories that I told, which they were part of the point, but there was kind of an overarching point. I'm sweaty because it's so fucking hot. Man, I have to do this in front of the window, and it's just like the light is just shining on me, and I like close these blackout curtains, but I have to have some of them open, and I'm just like, calm down. I understand. You're very passionate. Me too. Okay. Anyway. Anyway. In the last video, I think people focused a little bit too much on those stories, but the overarching idea was really that we as a community, as the gay community, have the responsibility, you know, and the opportunity to correct this behavior, to recognize that within ourselves, and to make changes. Because not only will that help us, that will also help other people immensely. That will help new people who are coming out of the closet, who are experiencing their own trauma, their own abuse, whether that's their parents kicking them out or getting assaulted in a hate crime, which gay men are 6 times more likely to get assaulted in a hate crime than lesbians. It's one of the few things we don't have male privilege around when it comes to being a gay man, particularly an effeminate gay man, where people can just tell that you're gay. Anyway, back to the point. We have the opportunity and the responsibility to fix our behavior, to analyze ourselves and figure out what it is that's making us behave this way. Why are we treating other people negatively? How can we stop doing that? But a lot of people don't want to do the work because there are a lot of... I'm not going to diagnose anybody here, but I've noticed a lot of narcissistic qualities in gay men, even in myself. I've even had people call me out for it, which I get. I really do. I'm not a narcissist, but I do definitely have some qualities of one. I think most people do, like at least like a couple. Doesn't mean you're a narcissist, but it's an area that you can look at and figure out, you know, what do I need to do to improve this, which is going to help you immensely. I'm just going to drink some beer real quick while these dogs sniffle and snuffle. I used to drink Bud Light, but then I had lost my job, my last job, and I couldn't afford Bud Light anymore, even though it's like one of the cheaper ones. So I switched to Natural Light, and now that I have a job that pays like really well, I bought Bud Light again, and I thought it tasted bad because I got so used to drinking Natural Light. So I'm like, okay, I guess it's Natural Light for me then. I do prefer Corona, but I ain't gonna dish out that much cash. Also, what Corona's doing to the Mexican water supply really pisses me off, so that's a story for another time. Let's get back into this. Hold on, I just gotta... Hold on. You're the drunk. Okay, so the LGBT and this thing is just gonna, it's my OCD, it's just really, it's working on it. But if I close that curtain, that's the one that's screaming, by the way, that one right there, little fucker. Her name is Tiny, which I didn't know was gonna be appropriate because I named her that when she was a kitten. And she's full grown now. She's fucking tiny, you guys. She is like the smallest adult cat I've ever met in my life. She is like half the size of a normal cat. I'm like, oh, I'm so glad I named you that. It worked out. Anyway, lesbians, gays, bisexuals, transgenders, and intersex people, we all have a very unique experience in the world. It's that experience of there's no one group who is for or against us. It's not like racism, right? Racism is, you know, one race hating another race just because their skin color, right? Usually it's white people hating another race, but I have heard some horrible things come out of the mouths of people of all colors. In the LGBTQI plus every alphabetical letter in the world, in our community, we get hate from every group, every religion, every race, every nationality. No matter what group it is in the world, there are people in that group that hate us, which means we never really have an area where we're safe unless we find that either within ourselves or within a community. And study after study has shown that it is important to have loved ones, whether that's friends, family, chosen family, it's important to have a support system. It's important to have that sense of community. So for gay people, we often go into this community looking for that sense. I know that's what I did. And this is really what I wanted the point of the last video to be, but I think I focused so much on all of these negative stories that people really didn't like. I don't think I explained it good enough either, though. But we go into this gay community looking for this sense of community, and oftentimes we find it, but we're going into this community with a lot of trauma. Not everybody, but a lot of gay people, trans people. Again, I'm really focusing more on gay men because I'm not any one of those other people, so it's really hard to speak for someone that you're not. A lot of people have trauma. It's coming out and having your family reject you. I know multiple people who were kicked out at the age 15, 16. I was kicked out whenever I came out, although they did bring me back. It wasn't like right when I came out. Something happened. I don't remember what it was. It was like me rejecting the idea that I was gonna like be fixed or something. I don't remember what, but they kicked me out, and they only let me come back because my teacher called my mom and let her know like about truancy laws, and was like, your kid's not in school, you're gonna get in trouble for that. That's a federal crime. Well, my mom is my best friend now. Like, we have completely healed our relation. Maybe not completely. I do tend to get a little tipsy and go off on her. I'm not gonna lie. I like definitely get really rude with her sometimes, just because the trauma was so intense. But I'm 31. It's time to stop, blaming it on people. But that's really how it works. It takes work. It takes like getting to know yourself, and but that's what people have to realize. Like, even like, let's use me as an example. Me going off on my mom whenever I've had too much to drink, and I feel like she's supporting somebody in her family who is, against me, because a lot of them are very, very anti-gay. They're very anti-trans. And intersex people don't even seem to ever cross people's minds, which really pisses me off, because they're literally born as a different sex, but Christians will completely deny that. And I'm like, okay. Anyway, I'm sure my family's anti-intersex as well, so Lord knows. But me going off on her, that's something that only I can fix, right? That behavior, that toxicity, that hatefulness, that's something I have to recognize within myself and correct. Now, I could just be like, oh, well, she deserves it because of everything that she did to me growing up, which I think is a common attitude that people have, especially with trauma revolving around gayness or transness. I'm not like a big fan of the word queer, so I'm not just gonna like umbrella everything as queer. I don't like that word. It makes me mad. So sorry if you like it. I'm not going to judge you for that. I'm just not going to adopt that. Maybe I will later, but not right now. I'm open to it down the road. Not right now. But that's something I have to look at and correct, right? That's not just going to help me. That's going to help my mom. That's going to help other members of my family. That's going to strengthen our bond. This is my other pupper. This is my real pupper. His name... I know. That assaulted me, didn't you? His name's Bunny. That's into a bunny boy. Oh, don't do it. Don't do it. He's one of those dogs that their face smells like a wet, dirty rag, no matter how good you wash it. It's so gross, but I love him. I love him so much. I'm a bunny boy. Anyway, that's the thing that I don't think a lot of gay people are doing. I don't think that they're really recognizing how their actions, their tone, they're like, honey, like how that affects people. And I think that's so important for us to do. Another thing that this guy brings up, which I thought was hilarious that he brought it up like in a scholarly way, because it's something spiritual people often talk about. It's the shadow self. It's that part of you that you know, but you don't want other people to know it. And for everybody, it's really, really different. I'll share with you a little bit of what mine is. Mine is very dark. as they tend to be. And it's rooted very much in self-harm. Less like, I don't have a desire to harm other people, but I definitely can get very, when you're in a defense mode. I'm a fighter. I'm not the flighter or the fawn or the deer or whatever it's called. Yeah, I'm none of those. I'm definitely all fight. But my shadow self is really, it's a lot of self-harm, which is what a lot of gay people's shadow self is. Gay people, trans people really, if we're going to be honest, but just use the umbrella, LGBTQIA+, have higher suicide rates, have higher self-harm rates, have higher drug addiction rates, have all of these things because we're trying to hide that shame. And that shame is inside of our shadow selves. It is our dark side. For me, that's a lot of self-harm and BDSM and sexual abuse, stuff like that, which I know is really common. You know, a lot of people, the number one fetish in the world, for example, is to be dominated. Did you know that? Amongst men, women, like all groups of people, that is the number one fetish, which I find hilarious. Because it's one of mine as well, right? So I'm like, oh, I'm just a normie. Fuck. Fuck you, I'm original. But again, with the rambliness, it makes me forget my points. What the fuck was I gonna say? I don't know. Well, oh yeah, dark sides, shadow self. Okay. Well, he talks about the shadow self in this, which I found really interesting because, like I said, spiritual people, we've been talking about this for years already. Although I didn't even know people referred to it as shadow self. I had a completely different terminology for it. But it's about recognizing how your shame plays a part in your shadow self. And a lot of people experience this. People who grew up overweight, for example, they have all of that bottled up in that shadow self, and they have to work on that. And like I said, I can only address the gay community, but people of color, they have a lot of that self-hatred bottled up, or that anger at other people for treating them poorly, just like gay people do. Just like I have this anger toward the Christian religion, and it's intense, it's extreme. I don't think that that's something I need to work on, though. I think that Christianity is the most, not just Christianity, I should say religion, is and always has been the most destructive force on this planet. I will always speak up against religion. So that's also how our shadow selves help us. Being able to, recognize that rage and that anger can be helpful. But when it shows up in ways that hurt other people, whether that means you enjoy abusing them or you get them addicted to drugs on purpose, I cannot tell you how many times I've had somebody on Grindr message me to P&P, and I'm like, oh no, I don't do that, I've been clean for years. And they're like, oh, well, oh, by the way, in 10 years, I'm going to get canceled for saying clean. I don't know what to say. I'm not sober. You see me drinking right now. I'm clean from drugs, meaning I piss clean. See what I'm saying? Urine is sterile! That's from For a Good Time Call. Hope you've seen it. It's very good. But what I was saying, cannot tell you how many times somebody on Grindr's messaged me like, hey, come P&P. I'm like, oh, I've been clean for years. And they're like, oh, well, no, it'll be so fun. They try to talk you into it. That right there is somebody who is miserable, living in their shadow self, trying to pull you into it, which is the point of it all. That's the point. It's living in that darkness and trying to pull other people into it because you're miserable too. Whether that means you're human trafficking, well, people like that are probably psychopaths, which that's a whole other ball game, but they may not be. And just because someone is a sociopath or a psychopath doesn't make them a bad person. I just want to make sure that's very clear. I have multiple friends who are, and I think they have really fucked up desires sometimes, but my friends suppress their fucked up desires and try to be good people. But those bad desires could come in handy. If somebody breaks in and tries to harm their family, they're gonna really enjoy making sure their family's not harmed. So that's what I'm saying. Your shadow self can be helpful. We need to have it, but it is also so destructive. And when it comes to gay men, we are, not everybody, obviously, I don't want to generalize, but overall, we have higher rates of drinking, of drug addiction, of all of this stuff. Sex addiction, oh, that's a huge one. Sex and drug addiction combined, huge. It's literally epidemic levels right now. It's this fetishization, I said it, fetishization of self-harm and destruction of others. And then on the other side, it's this fetishization, I don't know if I said it, of being better than other people. It's not harming yourself, it's harming others to make sure that you feel on top. These are the things that we have to look at. These are the things we have to address. So the answer to the question, why are gay men so mean, is abuse. It's literally abuse. It's the beer, okay? It's abusing me. When you're abused so heavily your entire life, it does things to your brain, man. It changes who you are. It's so fucked up. I have PTSD from a lot of different things. But I cannot even explain to you my perspective some days. I have days where I will literally, nights, not days, where we'll literally sit with a knife ready to pounce in case someone's planning on breaking into my apartment. That's insane. That's PTSD. And when you're told your entire fucking life that you are an evil person, that you are a sinner, that you are a groomer, that you are not worthy of this life, that your existence should be illegal, what do you think that does to somebody? What do you think that does to someone's mind and heart and soul? How much self-hatred is involved here? And in order to get out of that self-hatred, how much do you have to embolden yourself and lift yourself up to feel better? And when that happens, oftentimes it can be at the expense of others, but you don't know that you're doing it. You don't realize that that's happening until maybe, years down the road, and you're like, oh my God, I was so mean to those people. But that helped me feel better at the time, and now I have more confidence. But is it real confidence? And you start asking yourself all these questions. Well, what do you think happens to somebody whenever they're abused their entire childhood, being told by society, by their parents, by their friends at school, their teachers, their family members, the people at church? Everybody is telling them that they're evil. Even if they haven't come out of the closet yet, or they have, I don't know. Everyone's telling them that they're evil. And even if their parents are very supportive, you turn on the news and all you hear from, Republicans and conservatives is how trans people and drag queens and gay people were all just groomers and were after kids, which is so disgusting to me. It's literally the language of Nazis. I'm not joking, from the 1920s, 30s, and 40s and on. That is literally the language that they used in the past. It's what churches have used. It's what my church taught me growing up, that I was just an evil, bad pedophile. We are teaching young kids this and then expecting them to grow up and be happy and good and kind to others. It's not that easy. So I know my last video hit home for a lot of people. And it wasn't my last video. I mean, this is the sequel to that video. It hit home for a lot of people. It also made a lot of people really upset. Not a lot of people, but like the critical comments I got, which again, I really liked. Like, please criticize. It's fine. Just be nice about it. I do not mind constructive criticism at all. I enjoy it. As long as it's a productive conversation. I want people to disagree. I want to have that discussion. But it upset a lot of people, and I just find it ironic because we need to be able to have these talks. We need to be able to address the abuse and the trauma that makes our community so unique to other communities. Our community, it's nothing like, you know, a race-based community or a nationality-based community, because again, we're targeted from every angle, and what that ends up doing is we're even targeting each other, you know? I mean, how many times have you seen on Grindr, no femmes, no blacks? Like, what the fuck is wrong with you? You know what I mean? No femmes, so you've reduced me to my voice, because I'm not particularly effeminate, but since I sound effeminate, people have just decided that, yep, he's a femme. I don't dress feminine, I don't do feminine things. I have a feminine voice, and I like female musical artists. Other than that, I can't really think of anything. I'm also not particularly masculine. I don't like sports. Oh, I do love camping, but I know a ton of women that, actually, I know more women that like camping than men, because men are pussies. I'm just kidding, kind of. No, we definitely are. We're ball sacks. Pussies are way stronger than ball sacks. Why do we call people pussies? Like, pussies get the job done. Like, they take a pounding. They have babies. We really, when people are wimps, we should call them ball sacks or dick bags. Like, don't be such a dick bag, man. Just jump off the waterfall. You know, like that sort of thing. Instead, don't be such a pussy, man. Be like, oh, no, the pussy would be the first one in the water. First one. Anyway, I'm devolving. I don't really know how to end this. And I don't know that I really want to have like a cohesive ending, like tied up into a pretty little bow, because what I really want is for people to comment. I really, really want people to comment their thoughts, their ideas on this topic, what they think solutions could be, like, or if you are someone who's dealt with a lot of trauma and you notice these patterns in yourself, these patterns of behavior, or patterns of like who you're drawn to. Maybe you grew up in an abusive home and now you're drawn to abusive people, which has been my experience, a very big part of my experience. And I've recently, just within the last 5 years, just learned how to break that cycle, and I just spit so far, which has been really, really nice to have. What is that? Sorry, I got distracted. It's just been really nice. But comment your perspective, your experience. I really want to make this a discussion, and I really want to make another video on this topic. And I want to use the comments that I get, and I'll display them, of course, with your permission. So if you're comfortable with that, if you've seen this far into the video, if you're comfortable with me making another one with your comments in it, let me know. But yeah, I think I'm just gonna stop it there. Again, I know it's not, you know, tied into a pretty little bow, but hopefully we've got some food for thought, and I just want to open up the discussion. I'm not here to judge you or hate you, or unless you're like actively enjoying like harming people. Like, I'm not down for you if you're a fucking trafficker, you know what I mean? I want you to, well, I don't want to get demonetized. I'm not even monetized yet, but in the future, if I get monetized, I don't want to get demonetized before I'm monetized. Anyway, I'm gonna let you go now. Don't forget to like and comment, share, subscribe. Again, I've said this in previous videos, but I don't have very many subscribers, so your subscription means a lot more to me than it does to somebody else. Your watch time means a lot more to me than it does to a big creator. It really, really helps. Every little bit counts, especially while I'm trying to get the 4,000 watch hours needed, and I think it's like the last 90 days or something to get monetized. I have everything else I need, I just don't have the watch time by a long shot. I'm like a quarter of the way there. But oh, it was part of your scab. That's what it was. Yeah, he somehow scratched his head until he's got anxiety really bad. And if I leave for too long, I'll come back and he'll be bloody. So we have the cone of shame. You can't see it, but it's like right there on a shelf. That him has to wear sometimes, and him didn't like it very much, but him's gonna wear it anyway. Not today though, because daddy's home. But yeah, thank you guys so much for watching. Moral of story: put love into your heart, put love out into the world, be kind. I'm not perfect either. Trust me, I've been very cruel to people, so I'm not judging you if you're a shitty person. I was a shitty person for a really long time. You'll get to know more as I talk more on this topic. I have a lot of videos about it planned because I think we need to normalize talking about our mistakes, because only way we can get better is if we discuss them, address them openly. But thank you guys for watching. I love you guys so much. Have a good day, and don't forget to pet a puppy today. Pet a puppy today. Oh, I forgot. I want to like extend the ending a little bit so I can put like the little title cards. I'm going to put my subscribe button right here in my face. I wonder if right here in my face so you can't see me while I'm talking. Oh, I could just drink a beer. Hold on. Let me just. Oh, also, I just want to be clear. I've only had 2 beers, so this is just how I am normally. I'm not drunk. I'm just fucking weird. You're welcome. Oh my god, when I was in high school, people always accused me of being on coke, and I had like never even done any hard drug. I have since then, but at that point, no. But they were always like, you're always coked out, dude. What the fuck? I can't help it. I call myself a movie aroundy person. You know, the people that like move a lot and they just like have all these nervous tics, and like I have that. So, yep. All right. Love you. Bye, motherfucker.